Hello and welcome to the From Scratch Body. I'm Liv. Today I'm going to talk about sugar. Sugar is something that we are trying to avoid more and more. There's a good reason for it as well. Sugar has been linked to a lot of serious illnesses and conditions like heart disease, diabetes, obesity, cancer even. So we do want to minimize it. I have sugar in my house, as you can see. This jar has, however, stayed like this for months and months and months because I have completely stopped making any kind of food, cooking, baking, anything with normal refined sugar. So there's no reason to be deadly afraid of a bit of sugar. The problem is that there is so much sugar added to the things that we consume, that we buy in the shops, that we have at restaurants, that we get from takeaway restaurants. We have so much more of it than we need and that we probably know of. The great news is there are so many fantastic alternatives to normal refined sugar, and I'm going to go through 5 of those today. There are more than 5, but I don't want to overwhelm you. So let's ditch this sugar for today and look at 5 alternatives that are better for your body and sweeter as well. Number 1 is my absolute favorite, and that is honey. Honey actually can help prevent some of those things that I listed as risks with sugar, like diabetes, heart disease, cancer. So it is a perfect antidote. Not really antidote, but you know what I mean. It's really so much better for you. Honey is high in antioxidants, and that is great for our bodies. So that's something that we want. However, honey still has fructose, fruit sugar, in it. So it's still pretty hard on our teeth, and it does heighten our blood sugar levels. So you shouldn't just go crazy with it. But one thing to keep in mind is that honey is so sweet that you don't really need that much to sweeten anything that you're baking or cooking. It takes very little to get that sweet taste from the honey. So that's another really good reason to use it. Number 2 is maple syrup. Maple syrup contains over 20 different antioxidants. Maple syrup is made from cooking down the sap from maple trees. It is still a sugar, but it is an unrefined sugar, so there's a big difference there. It's a much, much better alternative. And just to be clear, maple syrup and other syrups like golden syrup, they are not the same. So if a recipe is relatively healthy and they say maple syrup, you can use golden syrup if that's what you have, but it is not the same. It makes it a lot less healthy. So maple syrup is a really great alternative. Again, it is still pretty tough on our teeth, and it does heighten our blood sugar levels. Again, like honey, maple syrup is super, super sweet, so you only need a tiny bit of it, and it's a great alternative for vegan people who don't eat honey. Number 3 is monk fruit sweetener, which is extracted from the monk fruit. It contains 0 calories and 0 carbs. Not that calories and carbs are bad. We need calories and carbs, obviously. But it's just interesting to know that if you add the sweetener, there's no added carbs or calories, and it's a really healthy, natural sweetener. It is also about 100 to 200 times sweeter than sugar. So that will tell you that you don't need much of it to sweeten something. Just be aware that often when you buy monk fruit, it's mixed with other types of sugar and molasses, so be sure that you check the label if you want to use pure monk fruit sweetener. Number 4 is stevia. Stevia is a natural plant-based sweetener, and a lot of nutritionists absolutely swear by this as an alternative to sugar. Again, hundreds of times literally sweeter than sugar and completely natural, and actually lowers your blood sugar levels. So that's pretty cool. Stevia is pretty pricey sometimes, but knowing that you need so little of it because of how sweet it is, it probably adds up to pretty much the same. And stevia also contains 0 calories, so it's just something to know. Calories are not bad though. I just want to make it really clear. Calories are not bad. Number 5 is my favorite really, the natural sugars that occur in fruits and berries. So, ooh, that's heavy. Oy. When you cook or bake with fruits and berries, their natural sugars will really sweeten whatever you're making. For instance, I very often get these cooking apples, Bramley cooking apples. If I just bit into that right now, that would be so tart, so sour, not very enjoyable at all. But when I slice it up and I simmer it just in some water, it gets so lovely and sweet. I make applesauce from these and I don't add any sweetener. They just become so lovely and sweet, but they still have that lovely tart taste as well, because you don't want it to just taste of sugar. So the naturally occurring sugars in bananas, you know, all the different ways that you can bake with bananas, you can make banana ice cream. It just releases so much sweetness on its own. And I would really encourage you to embrace the natural flavors instead of just chasing that sugar taste, because actually when you get less accustomed to having it all the time, it becomes less interesting. The same when you make a hot drink, like for instance, I have hot cocoa. I warm up some milk and then I just mix it with cocoa. No chocolate, no sugar, nothing. And actually what happens is that we perceive some food and drink as being sweeter when it's a certain temperature. So if you just embrace the flavors, you know, when you have a hot cocoa with no sugar, yes, there is a bit of like bitterness to it, but it's actually really lovely. You want to embrace those bitter natural flavors and the kind of sour flavors of a citrus fruit or the slightly tart flavors of an apple. Much, much more exciting than just tons and tons of sugar. So those are some alternatives, and all of the ones that I mentioned here, those 5, you can bake with, cook with, super versatile. There are many, many more alternatives to refined white sugar, but those are 5 that you can start with if you're kind of trying to cut down on sugar. Just remember that this is to help you stay healthy and feel good inside and to lower your inflammation levels. It's not to shame you for having some sugar or to tell you that if you have sugar, then it means that you don't care about your body or anything. I have stuff with sugar in it sometimes. It's absolutely fine. It's just that when we cook from home, we can take control and give our body something different to work with. That's all I want to help you guys to do. So let me know which one you use the most. What is your favorite sweetener? How do you use it? How do you cook with it? How much do you need of those really sweet ones if you're using monk fruit sweetener or stevia? Make sure to check out my website with loads of healthy, sweet, delicious recipes, thefromscratchbody.com. I'm also on Instagram, thefromscratchbody, all in one word. And I'd love to see you in the comments below. Let's have a conversation about how we can enjoy food, but also feel good after we've had it. I'll see you in the next one.